Hello and welcome to the AV Experience podcast with me, Carina neighbour. Today I sat down with Dhona Lumiere. Dhona, for all of you that don't know, is a self-taught projection mapping artist. Inspired by Dutch mathematician and painter MC Escher, Dhona has grown a following on Instagram for her ability to levitate stunning optical illusions with the power of projection. Dhona started by letting us know about current and future projects she's working on, as well as how she's coping with work in the pandemic.
I'm involved in a couple of projects at the moment. One of them is I'm collaborating with an international artist to help her create her promo video and music video, and also the album art with some projections. We're going to use some of the projections. We've already done a few shoots, and then we're going to line up a couple of other shoots as well. I think the song should be released today or sometime around this week. So hopefully next year. I mean, I've got so many projects on the pipeline. And one of the projects with La Maison Rose, it was like one of the things that really everybody was excited about. But when the festival got cancelled, it's something, it gave me the kind of confidence that it's able to achieve it, but then, it has to be the right time. And, with COVID, it's been crazy. Also, it's important to appreciate what you have right now. And I think this year is all about appreciating what you have rather than, what you don't have at the moment. Then maybe next year, when things are back to normal, that should be the time to focus on work. I'm trying to take a really relaxing approach for this whole, situation. Just enjoy the time I get. Usually don't really get this much of time to do projections.
Starting out life in the Maldives, Dhona has had a varied career from journalism to marketing to coding. She explains this journey and the inspiration behind using AV in her artwork.
Well, I started a career in media as a journalist long time ago, and then slowly progressed from journalism to marketing. That's when I started coding, because I was working in digital and web dev as well. So from there, worked with small to very big clients, and then slowly progressed from that to AV technology, because I always had a creative background on the side as a hobby. I would usually play music or make music or do visual art. So then slowly I had a keen interest in it. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try and see different things and test out different technologies. I was doing a lot of research, and I came across Johnny Lemacia and his label, Anti-VJ. That's when I kind of realized, what they were doing was completely new at the time, and started looking into more. And that's pretty much like, the way I got into it.
Taking in the world around her and translating this into light particles is the best way I can describe Dhona's work. She explains better than I ever could the intricacies of where an idea appears from and how she brings it to life.
I usually start with a concept. I get inspired about something, usually from nature, looking into different kinds of, reflections, light in different natural scenery or in natural environments. Then once I have a concept and an idea, I then look into logistics, depending on the location, the space, dimension, and the limitations of the space. I have to think about, where I'm going to place the projector, what distance I have from the projector to the projection environment, and how controlled the environment is, to use different kinds of softwares. Then I go into looking for libraries of different kinds of visualization and look at different things which kind of comes close to what I want to project. That could be from videos to generative art, anything. And then compile them and test them out in the location. Once I have an idea of the complete mapping plot and the dimensions and everything, and then compile them together to do a proper projection, the final product.
As a self-taught projection mapping artist, Dhona is a prime example of how open and welcoming our industry can be. She gives anyone wanting to make a start in projection mapping her top tips and tricks.
I think it's good to start with any projector. Map Mapper and Touch Designer. Touch Designer is a free software. I mean, to kickstart, you can use a free version, and then you can upgrade when you want to render it in 4K or something like that. Map Mapper is also quite compatible with different computers, so definitely recommend Touch Designer and Map Mapper to start with. Projector, obviously Optoma, but then to start with, I think anybody can start with something simple and cheap and then move on from there once they get used to mapping. And I will definitely recommend to project in different surfaces, different kinds of material, from water to paper to wood, steel, whatever, or glass. It's just good to test mapping and reflection and light, how light kind of bounces off or reflects when you have different dimensions, different, kind of shapes. It's always good to try in different things and then learn a bit about perspective mapping, which is a great way to start, definitely.
Projection in general can be a tricky thing to get your head around. Dhona tells us what she wishes she knew at the beginning of using projection in her art that would have made her life easier.
Well, all the computer languages in the world. The thing is, different softwares are in different languages, and once you become used to one software and then or one language, and then you have to move to another software because there's sometimes you come across challenges where you cannot achieve what you want from one software, so you have to go to another software, but then you end up learning a completely different language or different type of programming, which could be node-based programming, like the ones that I use in different softwares.
Scrolling through Dhona's Instagram gallery, her use of everyday objects as well as handmade surfaces shows that she's an artist pushing through boundaries on a daily basis. I asked her if she could project on anything in the world, what would it be and why?
I want to do projections in a lot of places in the world. But if I want to cut it down, I really love historical sites. Because obviously there's a lot of history about civilization, how humans kind of move from one generation to the other, and how we grew from our intelligence or intellectual capacity from one place to the other. So lots of different historical sites, but if I want to cut down to one, I would say the pyramids in Egypt, which can be quite a difficult project, but it's just, I love geometrical shapes. I really like playing around with different kinds of, structural material and shapes. So definitely pyramids would be one of those things.
Dhona really is an inspiration to anyone in the fields of art and technology. I luckily came across her work on Instagram and have been hooked ever since. If you're inspired too and would like to see Dhona's light art for yourself, she lets us know where to follow her and how to get in touch.
I usually put all the information in Instagram. I mean, if I am going to do a show or anything, which is in the future, it will definitely be posted on my Instagram. And then I will also update events information in my website. So my Instagram is Dhona Lumiere. My website is dhona.co.uk. So definitely it will go up on those two for sure.
Thank you, Dhona, for sharing your AV experience with us.
No worries. Thank you so much for the interview as well, for the podcast. Ciao. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the AV Experience, brought to you by Optoma. If you'd like to learn more about the podcast or would even like to feature, please visit optoma.com for more details. I'm Carina. This is the AV Experience. Catch you in the ether.